eat my shorts.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Eat My Shorts podcast. This is the podcast where I take your childhood and I slap you in the face with it. I am your host, Justin Reich. Welcome back to another week, and we are on episode 6-7. That's right, 6-7. And I am so sorry that I did that to you. I'm so sorry that any of you have had to deal with the 6-7 movement. I did a little, but hey, I've embraced it as a dad. I've embraced it as a parent, 6-7. And now I make it cringy for them. No. Hey guys, welcome back. Yes, I am doing another show. I'm happy that I'm doing another show because you can't count on me, and I apologize for that. No, like I told you, we're going to change things up and do things a little bit differently. On the last episode, I talked about where we were, what we were doing, and how things were going to change. This episode, I'm going to tell you that I got some interviews lined up. Not on this episode, next episode for sure. We start recording next week, which is going to be huge. I have Kaz from TNA Wrestling on an upcoming show. I have Mike Wexler, who's going to be coming on the show. I have a couple of podcasts that I'm going to be mixing it up. Retro Gorilla is going to be coming back on. We have, and if you don't know what Retro Gorilla is, if you live out in Lake Elsinore, you need to go check them out. Retro Gorilla is a video game store of all vintage kinds. So you can find Nintendo games, Super Nintendo games, 64 games, and you have Sega Genesis and Xbox 360, and it just keeps going on and on. Any retro gaming, you can find consoles, reach out to them, find them on Retro Gorilla at Retro Gorilla on Instagram, or you can find them on the internet, whatever. They also do trades, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Check them out. They're going to be on the show. A lot of really, really great interviews coming. So I'm very excited for that. And if you are as jazzed as I am about all of the Toy Fair news, that's another thing we're going to talk about today, because I'm very excited, very amped up for some of the new things coming out. Some things are a little weird, the things that I geek out for. So like Ninja Turtles, for example. Yeah, we'll get into that. And then also, yes, we have another VWC show. As a matter of fact, you know what? VWC Wrestling put out that they have their next show, and I believe it is in a couple of weeks. Let me actually pull that up because I'm so professional. You think I would have it ready. Let's see. Just because it's just how I am, right? I'm so professional. I'm looking up stuff, and I know that's what you guys are watching. That's what you're here for. Let's take a look. Oh, there I am. Look at that. All right. Let's see. I am sure they have updated their website. I am sure of it. Let's see. Yes, they did. Ah, there it is. March 1st, Sunday, March 1st, VWC. Right here. I don't know if you can see it. All right. Oh, there's Honest John. VWC. Can you see it? I don't know. I don't know. Let's look. Oh, look at that. I have a bigger screen. Oh, look at that. Anyway, VWC Ignite. We'll be back March 1st. I will be there. We're also going to get some wrestler interviews, which I've been meaning to do. I'm going to get some of the wrestlers on the show, and you guys will get to watch it here on YouTube. Before we get into everything, if you guys can do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you can give me a hug. No, if you can just give me a follow, that will help out the show. And while you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you're listening, if there is a rating system, 5-star rating or anything like that, please give me a rating, give me a follow, give me some comments. I would love to hear from you guys. And I would love to, interact more with what you guys want to talk about and what you're geeking out for. So let's get into it. Let's get into the show a little bit. So Toy Fair, New York Toy Fair happened, and I wanted to give it some time so I can understand what were the big news things, what were the big hits for me. Number one, the Masters of the Universe line, right? Masters of the Universe, the movie is coming out, so the new figures are coming out. I have been a Masters of the Universe fan since God knows when. I love swords and all that. I've talked about it. And the Masters of the Universe line has really, for me, has been I don't know. That's like one of the bigger nostalgia things. If you watch like shows like Stranger Things, or even if you watch like The Princess Bride, you will subtly see anybody based in the 80s had a Masters of the Universe figure if you were a little boy. Even little girls had She-Ra figures and all of that. So like the Masters of the Universe line, Mattel, that was like the little boy's Barbie, right? So everyone had the Masters of the Universe line at some point or had some kind of figure. Everyone knows who He-Man is. So this movie coming out, I'm very geeked out for it. I'm very amped up for it. If the movie theater allowed it, I would carry my big power sword into there, you know, not that I don't already. No, I'm just kidding. Don't. Oh God. Anyway, so but yeah, no, looking forward to the movie. I think it looks great. I love that they subtly put in the Prince Adam meme where he's laughing, you know, with Tila like launches off. So if you watch the trailer, there's just really great moments. And then the redesign of the power sword, you know, all the cool things coming out about that movie. I wonder if Orko is going to be in it. That's kind of something I'm wondering. And if you're not a He-Man fan, you don't understand, but Orko is kind of like one of those characters that I don't know, how do you say, like I'm hoping for at least a cameo from him or some kind of, you know, just a reason he's not in it or something, like, you know, give me something to build to if we have to, but I want Orko a part of the universe. I also want Gwildor. I don't know if you've ever watched the 1987 movie. That the 1987 live action He-Man movie is one of the few movies that I know is cringy to watch for a lot of people, but I personally love it. Because my cat's trying to get my attention here. You want to be on the show, buddy? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. All right, there we go. So yeah, as we are, you know, getting closer to the He-Man times and all of that, it's the new toy line looks phenomenal. The figures look great. Mattel did a great job, and I'm very excited for those to come out. Another thing, though, I noticed at Toy Fair, the Ninja Turtle line. Now, I'm hearing rumors that Playmates is ending their contract, ending their time with the Masters of the Universe. Not Master, sorry. Lino jumping all over me. You want to say something, buddy? You want to say hi to everyone? You want to... Sorry, if you're not watching on YouTube, you're not seeing my adorable cat. Yeah, this is Lino, named after the Thundercat. And he is, I don't know, he's just my other baby. He's my redheaded stepchild. I love this guy. All right, I'm gonna let you go. So anyway, the Ninja Turtles. They are, I heard Playmates has maybe lost the future of the contract or whatever, but at the New York Toy Fair, and I want to pull up some of the data that I was looking up on it. Let's take a look here. So some of the data that I was taking a look, yeah, it is Ninja Turtle Godzilla crossover. And I don't know if, here's the thing. I'm not a big proponent of crossovers. I mean, some of them are clever, some of them are funny, like the WWE Mattel figures that crossed over with Ghostbusters. Okay, like I don't know. Crossovers are always janky to me. I don't know. I've just never been huge on them. WWE did Ninja Turtles, which, you know, it's like, okay, cool. You did that. That's cool. I have a couple of them, but you know, it wasn't on my I need list. If you were asking me what Ninja Turtle figures lines need to either continue or grow with, I think the original style, and you know, look at, I'm aging myself when I say that, but I'm the original Ninja Turtle line, and I know you can only remake them so many times, but like I want that style of figure to live on. So I want more of those, and they can accurately depict the movies. There's so much they can do with figures that I think we're missing out on, like getting that style of figure, but to look like the 1989 Ninja Turtle movie style or the Secret of the Ooze style. I know they made movie variations of those figures, and I'm not talking about the ones that came out in the early 90s. I'm talking about what they could do today to keep the figures in that line. And also, anytime the Ninja Turtles are remade in recent times, we're not getting the animation that we want to see. We're not getting in when they make the movies, it's in animation or it's not. And Jim Henson's puppetry and Secret of the Ooze especially is like top tier for the Ninja Turtles, right? So I'm kind of in that sense of like, like I want that, So when I see like the Ninja Turtles crossover with Godzilla, I mean, I'm not a Godzilla fan, so I'm like, I don't really know that I'm gonna actually get any of those figures. I'm not actually gonna put any of those in my collection or geek out for that. But yeah, so I'm actually reading. Oh, so yeah, 2026 is the last time the Ninja Turtles will be in the Playmates line. And if you don't know what the Playmates line is, it's the original Ninja Turtles. This has been a contract that those toys have been around for, I mean, I'm going to say 1988 when those action figures came out, and Playmates have had that contract since then. So, I mean, literally almost my entire life, the Ninja Turtles have been available by Playmates. And so this will be the final year. 2026 will be the final year that the Ninja Turtle Playmates figures will be available. And I believe they move over to, I think I'm hearing Hasbro. Hasbro, I think, is taking over the Ninja Turtle line, which they are subtly taking over everything. And I think they are owned by Disney, which, okay, let's see what happens there. All right. And then another thing I noticed at the toy fair is Elite Collection Series 126, the WWE action figures from by Mattel. We have new Roman Reigns figures coming out, Jimmy Uso figures. We have a main event series with CM Punk, Logan Paul, and then you got a new Hulk Hogan, Razor Ramon figures coming out. They look phenomenal. Mattel always kills it. I have a grip load of them over here in my collection. I love the Mattel line better than any wrestling figure we've ever had as far as articulation goes. Now, if you nostalgia wise, I don't know if you could see them. I don't know if my camera will. There it is right here. If you could see them here, I have all my Hasbros from childhood up on my wall in my office, and there's a lot of retro lines that are out there. You have Zombie Sailor toys, you have Heels and Faces, and those are like Hasbro style WWE and wrestling action figure style. Well, wrestling superstars. I don't want to say WWE because they take a lot of indie stars and make them that. They take AEW stars. They take classic wrestling stars that don't have a Legends contract. So, there's a lot of great toy lines out there. The Toy Fair, the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast is something that I've been listening to for almost 8 years now. Actually, since the first episode, I've been listening to that episode, and I really enjoyed how they brought the toy business to the forefront, and it made toy collecting growing for me. It made me excited to have a toy collection again. So I think the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, I think Matt Cardona and Brian Myers and Mark Sterling for having a weekly podcast that talks about toys. And because of them, so many of these retro figures have bloomed. Zombie Sailor toys came from, the Major Pod. You have Heels and Faces that came out because of it, I believe. You have and then you have Big Rubber Guys. You have the Bendies. Those are huge. I love those things. I don't know if you understand I don't know if you are a follower of wrestling figures, but the LJN line, which is from the 80s, the LJN line was, I mean, those big rubber wrestlers that you'll see at swap meets now and like tubs and stuff. But those, and you can see I have some up here. Let's see if I can, I don't know. My camera doesn't really, if I go lower, there you go. You can kind of see them right here. I have them in my toy collection. I just found a Jesse Ventura, which is pretty great, but the original Hulk Hogan one. And then you have like right here, let's take a look at what Mattel is releasing. Mattel is releasing these WWE Superstar LJN style, but Big Rubber Guys has their own variation. This is the Dusty Rhodes from Series 1. I got lucky and found this at Target. They kind of go fast. The Hulk Hogan one's kind of still hanging up at the Target local to me. And then I'm hearing that the black card, which I have a Logan Paul and a John Cena black card. I don't know if you can see it behind me. Why can't I? There we go. Yeah. So if you can see that behind me on YouTube, the black card series, but these are the most retro variation of figures, and the Major Pod brought these back. So WWE, of course, they have the licensing to take control. They got with LJN. and then it in the originals they came with little mini posters, and so I haven't opened this, and I don't plan to open this. I just love the carding so much, and I'm an opener. I open the figures. I don't like the I don't know. I don't like to ruin the action figures in that sense. I don't like to like open the package if it's if they're important, but for me, they deserve to be open. They deserve to breathe. They deserve to be on display, played with, and maybe someday, because even though my kids are older now, they will, maybe someday we'll have grandkids, and I'll have grandkids to share all these cool toys with. But yeah, so Mattel at the Toy Fair really showed up, and if you want to take a look at any of that, just Google it. And you can take a look online what those figures look like, and then my favorite news of the New York Toy Fair for me, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Playmates is coming at it, and let me just say, I have so much excitement for the Power Ranger line. So they released the original series, series 1 or whatever you want to call it, a season 1 is what they're calling them actually by seasons. The season 1 of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where you got the Megazord, you got the 6 Rangers, original Rangers, we got Rita, we got Goldar, and the Putties, right? And the Playmate and the head flipper type vibe. And a lot of criticism on that. A lot of people are like, oh, they don't look like the head flippers are really large or different. It's made by a different toy company, so you're not going to quite get the full nostalgia vibe. But the fact that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is a series that has lived on this long, and that toy collectors all over are still clamoring for those toys, should tell you why they're making them, right? They have a new Dragon Dagger, that you can get. You can get the blaster, the whole thing. Now, me, in my collection, I have, the original 6 Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figures, the 8-inch figures. Those are the absolute most nostalgic like toy line, because I, as a kid, only had one. That should tell you how popular they were, right? Remember the movie Jingle All the Way, or the Turbo Man doll? The Power Rangers were the Turbo Man doll. Like, if you had all 6 of the colors, you had the red, the pink, the yellow, the blue, and the Black Ranger, plus you had Tommy the Green Ranger with the Dragon Zord, you were like, you got the coolest toys that year. And I knew one kid who, as I was a kid, I remember I went to his house one time. His name was Chris. I'm trying to remember, but I was little. I was like 10 or so, maybe 9. No, I was like 10. I was like 5th grade, and I went to his house after school one day. And I never really went to friends' houses after school all the time. So I went to his house, and this little punk had every Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figure. Like, he had all of them. And thank God for my Uncle Robert. My Uncle Robert got me the Red Ranger. And the Red Ranger was like before the Green Ranger. And this is before the Green Ranger debuted on the Power Rangers. I got the Red Ranger. He found it for me in Los Angeles. He was at work or something. And I remember he came in, and he came into the room and had it behind his back. And then he just goes, whoa. And it was the triangular box, right? The triangular box, the yellow and green box, the Power Ranger logo. And there he was, Jason the Red Ranger. I flipped out. I was so excited to have a Power Ranger figure. I didn't even need any other figure. The Red Ranger was the leader, right? I ecstatically played with that thing all the time. And then you get to my friend's house, right? And he has all the Rangers. I inevitably got Goldar to go with my Red Ranger so I could fight those battles. And the Goldar battles with Red Ranger, if you know, in season 1 were always dramatic, always epic, always great. And you're always like, but then Tommy came in and like always saved the day. It was a whole thing there. The Power Rangers are great. So I digress from the Toy Fair, but the Toy Fair, and thank you, Uncle Rob, for, getting me that Power Ranger. You started a whole thing. So if Cynthia hates that I buy all these toys, which she doesn't, she's actually very supportive, and I love her for that. But if anyone's ever upset that I buy all these toys and collectibles, he's partially to blame. So it's your fault, Uncle Rob. Uncle Rob, this is all on you, man. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, no, sorry. Very excited to find out that Playmates is releasing season 2 with the Thunder Zord, and you can build the Thunder Zord, get all the separate Zords, get all the new head flippers with the Rocky and Aisha, those characters of when they came in from season 2. So you get the different Rangers to go with the head flippers, but they're re-releasing the 8-inch Power Ranger figures. Now, hold on a second. Let me pause. There we go. Still frame here, but I'm going to be right. So, if you know what I'm talking about, the 8-inch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers figures. Sorry, I'm moving my camera around. The 8-inch Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figures. This is from Bandai, 1993. This is the Red Ranger that I had as a child. This is my Red Ranger figure. This is the one my Uncle Bob gave me. I still have the gun. As you can tell, I was a very careful kid with my figures. But yes, this is the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger line. You can still put the gun in his hand. And I don't know. It's just nostalgia. So the fact that this is all coming back, is huge to me. And I think that future kids that are growing up today with no toys, and I say that dishearteningly. I think if your kid is an iPad kid, that's great. iPads are their toys, but their nostalgia is all going to be digital. Gamers, they have nostalgia and memory, and you can play the game still on PC, and you can find your old retro gaming. So that's awesome. But eventually physical media goes away, and physical toys are becoming less and less asked for at Christmases and birthdays. And I hope that these new toy lines live on forever. I hope that they grow a new fan base, and I hope that the new Power Ranger show really sells them. I think toys are a great way for imagination and writing to happen. I think that it's what makes us happy and geek out forever. So it's one of those things that I really hope that just continues. If that makes any sense. If you're a parent out there and you're listening to my show, encourage your kids to play with toys as long as they can. And even if beyond that they're not playing with them, hold on to your things. I'm not saying be a hoarder. I'm saying hold on to the things that mean the most to you. And a lot of people wonder, like, why would I collect all of this? Why would I be a toy collector? Why would I collect swords? Why would I have the wrestling belts? They're memories. Memories lock us in. Memories are everything that we love and everything that we it's everything that it's us. It's our history books. I did a TikTok recently where I talked about a VHS I found, and I'm going to talk in long form a little bit about it. I got a hold of the 1993 Royal Rumble. These are the Coliseum video. I don't know if you can see like the logo there, the Coliseum video, but if you could see, right, my camera just does on its own. Anyway, it says Larry on the top of it. And in the back, I assume to be Larry's notes. And it looked like he underlined who won and, kind of gives it away, right? But what I love about nostalgia collecting is that there are memories tied to everything that you see, behind me and in your collections. And if you're a toy collector like me, even if it's on a small scale, even if you're just a Funko Pop, collector and a couple of geek items hanging on your shelf or on your desk at work or in your car, it's all personal and it's all memory based, right? Your favorite might be Star Wars or Batman or Barbie or Lisa Frank. But for me, it's wrestling. And when you're a kid, it is hard enough to find people who geek out for what you geek out for and finding friends that go with it. And I was lucky enough to have quite a few friends who love professional wrestling, but you don't know what some of these kids were lonely about or like didn't have and didn't get to share. And it's fun to see that at some point in this guy's life, he had the 1993 Royal Rumble, the VHS that I used to rent over and over again because Bret Hart versus Razor Ramon, like who didn't love this, right? And what was great was his notes and just seeing his writing just told me, it's someone else who geeked out as hard as I did for the same thing. and it's his memories. And I really do. I'm thankful that whoever sold this, and it might be Larry, it might not be, but whoever sold this to me on eBay, where I found this, I want you to know that your history is safe and preserved in my collection, and I cherish it. And I cherish all of the memories that I collect. Slowly but surely, I'm collecting old VHSs. Found the WrestleMania 8, and I love the wear and tear on these retro items because it just shows life. It was sitting on someone's shelf. It was used and reused, and I don't know how many times this VHS was played. I know it was tested and it works, and I'm happy about that. And I'm slowly collecting every wrestling show I've ever wanted on VHS. But just understand, it's all about memory for me. It's all about the preservation of history. I'm not just I'm big on history. When I was a kid, I loved history in school, but I'm big on preservation of memories. And for me, even though I don't have like a lot of photos of me as a kid right now, or I don't have a lot of those things with me, these are my memories. So when I see the Red Ranger, I think of my Uncle Bob. When I see the WWE, I think of the first time I ever watched the WWF at the time. And I don't know that they even remember it, where I watched the WWF for the first time. My cousins, Ron and Eric, were like my older brothers, right? And I stayed over at their house. I was really little, so I don't know if I was 4 or 5 years old. And my cousin Ron had a lunchbox or a backpack that had Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt. And I didn't quite understand what that was, but they were watching what I believe to be WrestleMania 5. It was Hulk Hogan versus the Macho Man Randy Savage. And I just sat there and watched it. And I don't know if they were watching it fully, or I don't fully grasp I just remember the core base of me was I was watching Hulk Hogan versus the Macho Man. And then my fandom grew when I discovered Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior and all that as a kid. But that is where, like, those are the memories. So like when I see Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan, I think of my cousins. When I see Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan, I think of my friend Christian when I was 8 years old, who showed me that VHS. When I think of WCW wrestling, ironically, I didn't know WCW existed, and this is embarrassing for a wrestling fan who loves wrestling, but I was a kid. WCW popped up on TBS in the middle. My grandma fell asleep. And we lived in the Big Bear, Running Springs, California, and it's a mountain town. And we lived in her cabin for a little bit, and I couldn't sleep. It was like a Saturday night. I was up late, and I went upstairs. And I say upstairs because the bedrooms were downstairs. It was a weird cabin, but I went upstairs in the living room, and she was asleep on the couch, and TBS was playing, and I think she was watching a movie. But then it turned into this whole. It started showing the old NWA, WCW, like history of the Four Horsemen. And I saw the big gold belt for the first time. And I was like, who and what is this? I knew who Ric Flair was because he'd been in WWF earlier in like 91, 92. So I'd seen those VHSs, but I didn't know he was like the real world's champion or whatever. Like I didn't understand what he was talking about then. So then I started realizing, there is a whole nother world of wrestling. And when I think of WCW, I think of my grandma, because had she not fallen asleep and left TBS on, it would have took me a lot longer to figure out what WCW was, So like all this stuff just kind of resonates with me. The reason I wanted the yellow Intercontinental belt you can see behind me, it was because of like WrestleMania 6 and all. So it all correlates to memory. And I encourage that you and your loved ones do the same. I encourage that you guys, collect and I just encourage you all to continue to collect your nostalgia. Anyway, so that's Playmates and my memories. I told you I have ADHD and I am all over the place. Very excited this weekend. Cynthia and I, we're heading out to the Arizona Ren Fair. We are going to go check it out before we take the girls out someday. This is going to be our first year. So I'm going to take a camera with me and I'm going to vlog a little bit on our trip out there. So you guys take a look at that on YouTube and TikTok and all that. I'll be putting out videos because on this one, I'm going to get to forge my own dagger. Yeah, I get to go and make my own dagger in the forge. I booked my appointment. I'll be there Saturday early morning and I'm going to be hammering the metal, making my dagger. So on the next episode, I hope to show it to you and I'm very excited. It's going to be really cool. I think it's a railroad spike dagger. They help you twist it and all thing. And I don't know if you can see, it's like something forge company. I forgot what it is. I wish I could plug them right now. I could probably look it up, but why? They're not paying me. And I'm just kidding. So I'm super stoked on that, super stoked to go on this trip. And it's also me and Cynthia's like 6th anniversary as far as like being together. 6 years. And it has gone way too fast. We have built such this crazy life together and I couldn't love her more. So I'm very excited to go celebrate with her this weekend in Ren Fair and be geeky. I'll show you what she helped me do. This is so I got shoulder armor for the Ren Fair and this is kind of cool, right? But she filled my little vials that come into this with some colored salt. So it looks like little potions or medicines and stuff, whatever, like, like, and how cool is this, dude? Like it's going to be my shoulder piece, right? Like I'm stoked on that, right? So, and then also I got, and apparently it's an anime sword. I don't follow anime, but I got a new sword to kind of go. It's a time traveler themed weekend. So I kind of went with like a futuristic looking sword for my knight character. I won't be able to show the sword at Ren Fair, but look at this blade. It's pretty cool. This is probably one of the cooler swords that I could have found for a really low cost. And I will promote the company that I found it for. If you ever go to like Frankensons and all that and you see all those dudes who sell their swords for like $400, don't do that. Go to realswordmasters.com and use my promo code EatMyShortsPodcast and you will save 10% on your order. And let me just say this, you could get the same Sword of Omens that I have for under $100. That's pretty cool. And I'm not even like, I'm not getting anything out of it, by the way. I made this promo code. I get no money from it. No one believes me, but it's true. I don't get paid for it. It is a promo code that I built with the company because the Sword of Omens took off and I wanted to promote it. I found it. I hit them up and said, hey, is there something I can give my people? Like, can we work out a promo code figure out? And I said, you send me a couple swords and I'll advertise. And that's what he did. He sent me like 2 or 3 swords once, a couple times. And I promoted the swords online. And this is where I got it though. Real Sword Masters is where I got this sword. This is separate. This is the scabbard, the back scabbard that you wear it on your back. I got this on Amazon. But the sword itself, Real Sword Masters, you can use my promo code, Eat My Shorts Podcast, all one word, and save 10% on that order. And you can get all these cool swords and weapons. They have a lot of great things. And you can also get foam swords and toy swords for your kids. It's all on there. Not just swords. They have like guns and blasters and armor. Especially for Ren Fair, it's actually like a really great website to get if you're like into weapons like I am. But yeah, so I'm very stoked to be doing that. We're looking forward to the trip, and it's like a 5.5 hour drive. So we're renting the car today and we're going to get out there. I'm technically on the clock right now for work, but don't tell them. I'm working from home this morning. But yeah, so you guys be on the lookout for those videos and my forging video where you get to see me make a weapon and all that jazz. That's it for this week, guys. I wanted to say thank you guys for watching, listening on Apple and Spotify. Please listen. Follow along. Yeah, that's the proper thing. Please follow along. So hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button so you can always get notifications when I pop up. It also helps me get out there, helps the show grow, and I would love to continue growing. Leave a comment, send me some email, whatever you want to do. Okay, let's try one more time. eatmyshortspodcast@gmail.com is an email you can hit up. And if you want to be on the show, if you're a professional wrestler, entertainer, singer, whatever, you want to be on the show and you have Zoom capabilities, because I don't feel like traveling anymore. I travel too much in my life, so for work. So if you have Zoom capabilities and a good microphone, let's get on the show together and let's talk. And you guys can hang out in my toy room. But we have some great guests coming on. So Mike Wexler will be on the next episode, I believe. We have, we have quite a few guys coming on. I don't know. So I don't want to advertise too much because I want you guys to be surprised when I have them on, but it's going to be a great time. And so thank you guys for listening to the show, and please give it a follow, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and give me a hug. And I'll see you guys next time on Eat My Shorts Podcast.